एक किलो राइस उगाने के लिए we need 3000 to 5000 liters of fresh water. So if you take 1 liter of water, fresh water, that costs 20 rupees in the market, you can well imagine the cost of producing 1 kg of rice. And when we export that rice to other countries, the water embedded component needs to be taken into account. सोचो कितना महंगा पड़ता है. Semiconductor industry uses large amount of ultra clean fresh water. So the next question that we are going to discuss is, why is the world today confronted with a crisis of availability and access to freshwater resource? What are the reasons behind this scarcity of fresh water, and what natural measures are the natural factors are there, and what man-made factors are there that this access, the availability and the access to fresh water is declining? This crisis has come. World is confronted with the crisis of availability and access to fresh water. See, water scarcity is a situation when the demand for fresh water exceeds the availability of fresh water. When the demand for fresh water is more and the availability of fresh water is less, or when the water is of poor quality, that is when the poor quality of water restricts its usage for drinking, agriculture or sanitation. When water is degraded, that it cannot be used for drinking, agriculture, or sanitation, then also it is a condition of water scarcity. Water scarcity manifests itself in two ways. One is physical scarcity, and second is economic scarcity. Physical scarcity is simply when water isn't available. Matlab water, the availability of water is in short supply. That is where there simply isn't enough water. That is physical scarcity. That is rare. More common is economic scarcity, when water is present but water infrastructure is absent, so that water is not transported to the needy population. For example, in Delhi, I have seen numerous areas where tankers supply the water because water pipelines are not present. So economic scarcity is more common, where water is there but the water infrastructure is absent, so that the fresh drinking water is not made amenable to those needy population. It has been, the studies reveal that almost 2 billion people in the world are lacking safe fresh water for drinking purpose. Matlab more than 2 billion people don't have access to safe fresh water for drinking purpose, and more than 4.5 billion people do not have safe fresh water for sanitation. Now let us come on to the causes. What are the causes of water crisis? The major cause that has been witnessed nowadays is climate change. Basically, climate change has led to shifting weather patterns. Weather pattern is shifting. The severity and intensity of droughts have increased. Increased temperature, unpredictable rainfall, all have contributed to reducing the availability of fresh water. Now, glaciers and snowpacks that happen to be the major reservoirs of water are depleting very fast. They are melting very fast. So the major rivers are in short supply of water during lean season. So that is also related to climate change. Second factor is overuse and mismanagement. World over, agriculture happens to be the main consumer of fresh water. That is 70% of the fresh water world over is consumed by agriculture, and much of this water is wasted because of inefficient irrigation practices. अब हमारे यहाँ ही ले लो. Basically in India 3000 to 5000 liters of fresh water is required to grow 1 kg of rice crop. Paddy crop, 3000 to 5000 liters of water is used to grow 1 kg of rice. So if you take 1 liter of water, fresh water, that costs 20 rupees in the market, you can well imagine the cost of producing 1 kg of rice. And when we export that rice to other countries, the water embedded component needs to be taken into account. सोचो कितना महंगा पड़ता है. 1 किलो राइस उगाने के लिए we need 3000 to 5000 liters of fresh water. That is huge. Although the same rice can be grown with much less quantity of water, but because of free availability of water by canals, so people make use of this water in a wasteful manner. Urbanization, not only urban population is increasing and that is consuming large amount of fresh water, but urbanization itself is reducing the availability of fresh water. Urban areas are supposed to be jungles of concrete. After heavy rain, water does not seep down because of concrete structure. Water flows through drains into the river and into the sea. The water that was supposed to seep down in the underground water table is now draining into the sea. As a result, that is becoming saline. So the fresh water availability is decreasing because of urbanization, not only because of increased consumption of fresh water in urban areas, but also because of concrete structures. The water does not seep down and flows through drains, through rivers into the sea. Thus, because urban areas don't have such green areas available, so that water may seep down. Next, industries continue to withdraw large amount of fresh water. अब जैसे मोदी जी ने अभी भी सैंक्शन किए हैं सेमी कंडक्टर के $10 billion से इन्होंने they have invested $10 billion for semiconductor plants, 5 plants in different parts of the country. Semiconductor industry uses large amount of ultra clean fresh water. It requires large amount of ultra clean fresh water, and some of the industries are also polluting the water. So industries continue to withdraw a large amount of water, and in near future you will see the amount of water consumed by these industries is bound to increase. As a result, the availability of fresh water is declining. And third major cause is pollution. If you see rivers, lakes, aquatic systems they are in a very degraded state. They are increasingly polluted by untreated sewage water, by untreated agriculture, industrial waste, and agriculture runoff. All this untreated water is polluting the rivers, lakes, and underlying aquifers. This not only makes water unsafe to drink, but also it threatens the aquatic ecosystem and food chain. And last and most important is, apart from pollution, it is population growth. Rapid growth of population is putting immense stress on freshwater availability. If you take the scenario, increased demand, the per capita availability is decreasing. If you take the scenario of India, in 1947, the annual per capita availability of water in India was 6,000 cubic meter. That is, water available to per person for 1 year was 6,000 cubic meter. Annual per capita availability was 6,000, which in 2001 it dropped to 1,820 cubic meter. See the drastic decline. That is basically because of increase in population. And according to IPCC report, presently in 2025, the annual per capita availability has decreased to 1,122 cubic meter, and now India is designated as water stressed region. It is because of increase in population that annual per capita availability of water has decreased drastically. So, and moreover, not only in India, worldwide it has been seen in developing countries, the poor infrastructure. Even if water is available, water infrastructure is not efficient, it is leaky, or it is not present at all. Water pipelines are not there. So that is also hampering the access to fresh water. Many regions are deprived of fresh water due to lack of water infrastructure, lack of water pipeline, lack of proper command area development. हम लोग क्या करते हैं in rural areas? Canal is there which is taking water to different agricultural field. This is known as command area of that canal. The command area is the area up till where the canal takes the water. But if any agriculture field is located here where this miner is not there to carry the water, then this land would be deprived of the benefit of this canal. So command area is there, but the actual field is not receiving the water. So there's need for command area development program that has been introduced in Indira Gandhi Canal, so that all the areas falling in the command area of canal may receive the fresh water for agriculture. So what we see, lack of political will. Basically, areas which are deprived in terms of economic prosperity, they are also deprived in terms of this physical infrastructure and social infrastructure. This lack of physical infrastructure is the main cause of lack of water in many areas.